The Witcher fans are firing back, saying bring back Henry Cavill and just fire the writers. Seems pretty logical, right? But I think what's done is already done. But I digress. Let's go ahead and just dive into the video today. So, I swear I gotta move my camera every time. Here we have from reported by comic book resources. They said a petition was recently launched calling for Netflix to bring Henry Cavill back to The Witcher and replace the writers. Instead, the petition has now gained over 100,000 signatures in the span of roughly a week. That is a ton of signatures. So let's go ahead and read the article before I really share my opinions. All right, so here we go. Henry Cavill announced his exit from Netflix's The Witcher not too long ago, and it caused an uproar among the show's fan base. In response, one fan launched a petition calling for the show to bring Cavill back and instead fire the writers. That's the common sense thing to do, but I think what's done is already done. I don't think there's no turning back on this. Launched on change.org, the petition recently shot past 100,000 signatures a week after being posted. At the time of writing, there are 100,128 signatures and counting. The petition assumes that Cavill left due to creative differences with the show's executive producers, writers, and showrunner Lauren S. Hisrich, whom it states disliked Andrzej Sapkowski's novels, the source material that inspired the show, which I made a video about that already, as well as a video about Henry Cavill's departure in general. It's a sentiment those who have signed the petition appear to share, with many citing the writer's room as their reason. It should be noted that while there have been criticisms of the creative decisions made throughout the Netflix series, the belief that the writers' room were not themselves fans of the source material was galvanized after former writer Bo DeMaio claimed during a Q&A I've been on a show, namely The Witcher, where some of the writers were not or actively disliked the books and games, even actively mocking the source material. Cavill himself has not publicly specified his reasons for leaving the show. However, recent reports suggest it was indeed because he did not agree with The Witcher's producers. In fact, the actor is said to have considered leaving the project while season 2 was in post-production. It's uncertain if the decision was made then, but it has been suggested the producers looked at potential replacements and selected actor Liam Hemsworth while season 3 was in production. Where does Netflix's The Witcher go from here? Hemsworth's casting was announced at the end of October along with The Witcher Season 4, though this was after news of Season 4 and 5's development had surfaced. Season 3 will mark Cavill's last appearance as Geralt of Rivia, while Hemsworth is taking over in the seasons that follow. Hemsworth himself stated at the time, as a Witcher fan, I'm over the moon about the opportunity to play Geralt of Rivia. Henry Cavill has been an incredible Geralt, and I'm honored that he's handing me the reins and allowing me to take up the White Wolf's blades for the next chapter of his adventure. It's currently uncertain how Cavill's departure will impact the rest of the franchise. Netflix has announced a number of spin-off projects, including a new anime titled The Witcher Sirens of the Deep, the prequel series of The Witcher Blood Origin, and more. The Witcher is available for streaming on Netflix, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so, I understand why the fans are really upset because, y'all see time and time again how me being a huge Tomb Raider fan, I'm upset with what they've done with the franchise. And when you know the root cause and the root problem, you just want that to be fixed. And in this situation, though, Netflix doesn't care. The creators here don't care. They don't care about being accurate to the source material. They've already exposed themselves as not caring about the source material. You can see that in the work itself. So Henry Cavill being such a massive fan of The Witcher, it makes perfect sense why he would leave and not want to be a part of it. Just like if I were put on some sort of Tomb Raider project and they butchered it like they have been in recent years, or honestly the past decade or even more, then no, I wouldn't want to be a part of it either. It's worse to see one of your favorite franchises or your favorite franchise get run to the ground, desecrated, ruined, changed beyond recognition, and not honoring the source material. It's worse to see that than it is to see the material not exist at all. And it's better for something that is trying to ruin your favorite property, it's better for that to fail than for it to ruin what you already love and change beyond recognition what you already love. Now, if they actually did care about the fans, if Netflix did, and they actually did care about creating an accurate representation of The Witcher, then yes, they would do exactly what this petition is asking. They would have fired the writers, brought on new writers, and brought Cavill back, and have him have more of a say in what's going on in the show in general, because he clearly is a huge fan. So, like I said earlier, that's the common sense take here. But you don't see that happening. And that's why it's so insulting when companies like Netflix or in other cases, like let's look at Rings of Power, for example, how they tried to bring on Tolkien scholars to help with it. It's an insult to bring people who are already fans of the property onto this new project if it's not going to honor it. It's like they want people who are super fans, that they want them on it just to get the other super fans to watch, but they don't want them to have any say. They don't want them to be able to change anything, and they don't want to honor the source, but they just want their name tied to it because they know that other fans are going to be like, hey, this person is a huge fan of this property. I'm a huge fan of this property. Therefore, I'm going to watch it. So that's their line of thinking with that. But instead, what they really need to be doing is hiring people who do care and letting them actually have impact on what's going on. Because you can't tell me that there weren't writers available who would have honored the story, and that there weren't writers available who were big fans of what's going on. Hollywood lately has been hiring a bunch of writers who like majored in gender studies or some made up stupid fluffy degree that they threw their money away on. It's like they're hiring people based on their worldview instead of their capabilities and talent as writers. And this is why we see such terrible TV shows and terrible movies as of late. It is tough to find something new that is worth watching and actually good. It is a struggle, and a lot of it is in part to the terrible writing. So as much as we have issues with stuff like Rings of Power, with certain decisions that they've made with the shows, ultimately, the biggest downfall with these type of shows is that the writing is so bad. She-Hulk, Rings of Power, The Witcher, going on right now. It's just awful. And they care far more about pushing a message and pushing their agenda than they care about being accurate to the source material. And also, they just care about woke points and diversity points and this and that and the other. Because how many times do you see race swaps, gender swaps, etc., happening where it's not necessary? Not every property needs diversity. Let's be real, it doesn't. You know, I didn't watch Martin, I didn't watch Sanford and Son, I didn't watch, stuff like Wakanda Forever. I don't watch those to see myself represented. There's certain, you don't watch like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon to want to see yourself in it. You watch it because part of what's fascinating about those type of movies and shows is that you get to experience a story that's different than anything that you've went through or that you can recognize. It's cool to see a different side, even in works of fiction. And likewise, some stories don't have to have diversity. Some stories can have predominantly or even all black people. Some stories can have predominantly or even all white people. any other race. They can have predominantly or all straight people. They can have predominantly or all men. It doesn't matter. It's the individual story, in the fact that it needs to be interesting, it needs to be entertaining, that matters. It's cool to see diversity, but it's not cool to see diversity when it's forced. And unfortunately, what we're seeing in Hollywood lately is a bunch of forced diversity, and a forced message that kind of trumps the actual story at hand going on here. So anyway, that's it for today's video. It kind of has me going a little bit into what I plan on doing for tomorrow's video, unless something else comes up. We've actually had a bunch of different news stuff in the nerd space drop, so I feel like I'm having to pick and choose between topics, and I want to talk about them all, but time is of the essence, and I can't spam 5 videos a day. That's just how it is. Sometimes I get a ton of new stuff that I want to talk about at once, and then sometimes it will be under a dry spell and I got to try to dig something up, but alas, that's how it be. Anyway, thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and if you want to interact more with the community as well, check out, I have a link in the description with my Discord server where you can talk about all things going on, current events, if you want to talk about politics, if you want to talk about gaming, if you want to talk about just positivity, or if you want to put in a prayer request or even join a weekly prayer group meeting. There's plenty to do on the server, so I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you again for hanging out with me. I'll catch you next time, and in the meantime, go boom.